Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So this video is actually going to set a few firsts for me. First time flying a helicopter, first time crashing a helicopter, and the first time realizing that helicopters just want to crash and pilots are only there to try and stop them. I'm Jesse, this is Bartman's Bits, and today we are looking at the Puma X from ProFlight Trainers. It's a complete helicopter hardware setup for your simulator. And, no, I promised I wasn't going to say it. Get to the chopper! The Puma X A-style snap action 5th generation USB joystick, which I have slotted into my racing rig over here because, well, look, space is a little tight right now. Anyway, it's a helicopter simulator hardware package complete with collective, cyclic, and rudder. Wait. No, not rudder. Wait, what is it called? Hold on. Tail rotor control or anti-torque. Okay. Complete with collective, cyclic, and tail rotor control pedals. Puma X is compatible with pretty much everything you can fly a helicopter in, and it's basically your all-in-one package to make your helicopter piloting dreams come true. Let's take a closer look. Starting with the tail rotor pedals. You've got beefy ball links and a Hall effect sensor at this end, making for a smooth and very accurate tail input interface. Unlike the rudder pedals you find in an airplane, helicopter pedals do not return to center. So what you're looking for here is a nice bind-free movement with enough force to hold them in place no matter where you leave them. Moving back from the rail here, we come to the cyclic control. Now you have one sensor for each axis, and we go up here to the main grip assembly, which we will get to in a second. Now, just like the tail rotor assembly, this is made to stay put wherever you leave it. It does not spring back to center like on some of the joysticks that you find for flying. Clearly this needs to be adjusted a little bit because it does continue on, and that is pretty easily adjustable with a tool that they include in the package there. You just tighten up some of these spring washers and it firms it up to hold it in place. Up on the grip here, you've got plenty of buttons, and this whole grip is twisted, so it's got a more natural feel when you're sitting. It's how your hand kind of rests on there. Obviously not from this position, but when you're sitting right behind here, it feels very natural and is very comfortable while you're moving it around. Now off to the side of the cyclic is the collective control set on this fully adjustable set of arms here. On this arm, you have two controls. You've got the rotational movement for controlling the RPM of whatever is powering your helicopter, and then you also have the collective, which is up and down here. And like everything else that's on a helicopter, it is designed to stay put in whatever position that you put it in. Now, let's take a quick moment to talk about the buttons on the cyclic and collective controls. They are outstanding. ProFlight mentions in the description of the Puma that the buttons adhere to military specifications, and I believe it. Let's take a look at some of the other buttons I have around my room. Here is the F-16 grip from WinWing. So, you hear that? Here, let's put it a little closer. Not great. Now, how about this one from Virpil? Even worse. Now, take a look at the Puma. These are much, much better. This is what I want to see for all buttons. Like everything that needs a button. Just like this trigger. Metal, and it's solid. It's extremely satisfying using these buttons while flying, and you get a feel that they're gonna last for a long, long time. On the side of the main crossbar section, there is a cutout here that houses your electronics. All these sensors and switches hook into this main board here. Then there's a single USB-B connection for connecting to your computer. The collective assembly as a whole here can be adjusted, well, pretty much anywhere. The whole assembly can go up and down. You can also move it like this, so angle it. You have this adjustment back here, which can do the same, up and down, forward and back. And that allows you to get this pretty much exactly where you need it to be for whatever chair that you're using for this piece of hardware. The cyclic control only has one adjustment, and that's okay. It only goes up and down. Now, you're not going to be moving it forward and back because your chair is going to be the one that's moving. This pretty much stays stationary, except for the height. That way it feels good wherever you grab it. You're going to bring your chair up to where the cyclic control is, adjust it up and down so that it feels natural in your hand, and then bring your collective up to match whatever the helicopter is. So typically right on the side there. But you may have to do some more adjustments depending on whatever chair you're using. Like for the chair I have, the armrest is a little bit higher, so I had to bring the whole assembly up. That way I can rest my elbow and have complete control right there. It just feels better that way. Now there are options when ordering to add custom buttons. You could add some toe brakes, select the completion level, as well as various other configuration selections. This allows you to get the exact button layout you want and the level of kit required for your specific sim needs. No product is perfect, so let's go over the bad. First up, price. It's really expensive. This is not a cookie cutter mass-produced product like you find from Virpil or Winwing. This is a custom-built, hand-assembled, single-purpose product made of top-shelf components, and the price tag reflects that. Another concern I have is the use of 3D printed parts. You can find them here, 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 and here. I am all for 3D printing and the many benefits that it can provide, especially when developing a product like this. I just feel that the final product sent to customers should be properly manufactured. What I mean by that is assemblies that are subjected to structural load or other forces might require specific materials to withstand this over time. For example, this right here is 3D printed. It is not a structural component that has a chance of breaking under load, but it does receive wear when you use these hats. How well this will hold up to years of use, well, that's an unknown for me. There's also these parts here that keep your feet on the rotor pedals. I'm not going to test this, but these seem like they are one good kick away from snapping off. For the rest of the printed parts, I would like to see a way of concealing that they have been printed. Knowing that printing like this is used in the development stages of a product makes me think this is a pre-production unit. The good news here is that those printed parts should be relatively cheap to replace, if required. And maybe that's the point. Moving on. A small niggle is that there are a lot of open cables that are ready to be snagged and possibly broken. I don't know if there's an easy solution that could be implemented to keep those covered, but there has to be something better than just Velcro. One issue that really isn't an issue is that I saw some tension levers in the pictures on the product page, and they were not included in the delivered product. I mean, it still works, it's just it would be a little easier to quickly adjust if needed. And that's it. That's all the issues I had with this. And now it's finally time to head over there, set it up for some whirlybird shenanigans. One question that I did have during assembly was how this was going to be set up in the sim. ProFlight has got you covered here with a very detailed guide on how to set everything up from your initial plugin to make sure that your axis is calibrated here, or both of your axes, to a place where you can make sure all of your buttons are working, all your hats and everything, and get it up, set up just the perfect way they want for Flight Simulator, and then go in and make sure it's operating as it should in the sim itself. Walking through this setup got me up and running with everything configured correctly for my first flight. I don't know why, but for some reason the view is off when I sit in the right seat, so I'm just gonna fly from the left seat. Hurts my brain a little bit, but it's okay. This is no fault of the Puma, but indeed all pilot error. Turns out flying a helicopter is mildly difficult. And by mildly, I mean like brain melting. Coming from fixed wing for 30 years, getting my brain to counter what the helicopter was doing proved to be a real challenge. I'm sure with enough practice that this will start to become muscle memory and things will smooth out. But my first couple of halfway decent flights would have the passengers reaching for the 6-axis. My terrible flying aside, here's how I felt about the Puma during my testing. For one, everything is in the perfect position. It feels so natural to fly. It's smooth, accurate, and everything feels really solid. Even though it's using pretty minimalistic parts here, I mean, it's not very heavily built. It still feels solid when it needs to. Like if this shakes around, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What you need is for it to go up and down like it should, and that's exactly what it does. Now, as of right now, I have no idea what any of these switches do, but they all serve a purpose, and they can be tied to what you need to in the helicopter. For now, I know that some of them move your view around, and that's great because it was automatically set up by default. I didn't really have to do anything. And I haven't really taken the time to assign it to how I want it, but the options are there. And there's plenty of switches available to be assigned for whatever you need. Like, what is this? Governor off? No idea what that is, but it's probably important because there's a light there. Same with brake. Does something, I'm sure. I just haven't taken the time to figure out what exactly that means. With the limited time I've had flying with this, I love it. And this is something that I'm gonna keep around for a while, and I'm gonna start getting more into flying helicopters so I can really study how they work, the flight dynamics, how everything ties together, because I think it's really fun and it's something that I really wanna learn about. Let's wrap this video up. Now, the Puma is most definitely a niche product with a primary focus on serious helicopter enthusiasts willing to pay a pretty penny for accuracy in their sim hardware. If that describes you, then the Puma is a fantastic option. It's simple to set up, very high quality, and a complete package that's plug and play. The price may be a little steep for some, but you really do get what you pay for. Now, I've really enjoyed learning how to fly helis with the Puma, and if you do decide to take the plunge in this, I think you won't be disappointed. If you want to pick this up, head down to the description and you'll find a link down there to ProFlight Trainer's website. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.